Hello everyone and welcome to the Deep Blue Renegade podcast. My name is Molly, also known as the Deep Blue Renegade, and I'd like to welcome you guys to episode 336. Today is Saturday, September 26, 2020, and I'm glad you could join me today. It is a beautiful day today. I'm assuming that we're going to end up opening the window soon, which should be nice, but first podcast recording. What would it be? It's been a fairly chill day, which has been nice. But what would it be? I started the bread process before sitting down and recording because I wanted to have that intermediate time be the one where the bread was rising, and let us hope that I wasn't too impatient. So I am making a Smitten kitchen recipe called Russian black bread, and there have definitely been times where I have killed the yeast by putting in too hot of liquid, so have to be careful with that sort of thing. It calls for 17 or 23 different ingredients, and the recipe calls for that much stuff. It must mean it is somehow important to making it all work. And when it calls for things like chocolate and shallots, I even bought shallots for it. I went to the grocery store that sells it. So, and hopefully everything is a little bit more clear this week. I think when I try to record with like the sun going crosswise, that's when things get a little bit weird. So I'm recording early enough that it is still good lighting in the room. So before 3. So I am sure that this time will change as we head to darker days, but it is fall now somehow. So this is my Mesa sweater wrap, which is a Romy Hill pattern that I am knitting out of Ginny the Fleece, but I have less balls of yarn stabbed on the end of this week. This is because I tried it on after incorporating the 6th ball of yarn, and I noticed that the sleeves were really puffy. So I concluded that in that regard I had not successfully done the sleeves. And this was something I didn't get far enough on the other version of it to know that. So I ended up ripping back to where I'd stopped the decreases, putting in sleeves. Then I ripped it back to that again, went so that I could stick the sleeves in the middle of a color transition, and I think I'm done. Ripping back. But you can see this glorious teal to blue gradient that's going on. I am now incorporating blue, blue, purple in this, and I should be almost out of blue. I guess not quite, but you can see how big my blue nugget is versus this one here. Not that you'll be able to probably really be able to see, so the lighter color in the bigger ball is purple. And this is a lovely sort of blurply color, and this one, what would it be? Probably the purple ends up toning this out at least a little bit. And then you can sort of see how much I ended up ripping back of this guy. Though this guy probably has more in common with teal at this point, and I'm not sure if the other colors in the set are going to be, what would it be? I keep thinking that this purple is fugitive, so it may be the case where my sweater is a teal, purple, lighter teal, or teal, blue, lighter teal sort of gradient in the end, but we shall see. Because, yeah, no, because with sort of the true blue behind me, like, that definitely looks teal on camera. So, I don't know what's going on. I'm not sure why. You can put this against, yeah. So, I don't know. I'm just gonna go with it. Hopefully all of the fiber in that reacts in the same way. Whatever. So, so even though I am at negative progress with respect to last week, that was where most of my knitting ended up going. But I tried it on last night once I was at a point where I could try it on. So the way that I'm stabbing the balls, I can't try it on when I finish. When I get to beginning of row, I have to try it on at the opposite end, because then all the balls of yarn are on the same side of the needle. And I'm happy with how it ended up turning out, so that's good. But I also did have a lot of stitches pop off the needles when I did that, so oh well, such is life. So the other project, which didn't get nearly as much love, is my now and next socks. So I am doing this as a triple dipping activity, and maybe even quadruple dipping if I am careful enough. So I am knitting this for the Falling Leaf Soft Cow, which is why I ended up selecting this color of yarn here. So you can see it's very orange at the top for some reason, and then it is more of reds and browns in the body of it. So definitely the color of Falling Leaves for sure. What would it be? Though they're pretty laissez-faire in that group. You just need to find some way to justify it as being fall. I'm also knitting the Now and Next sock pattern, which is a Hey Brownie Berry pattern, and I've never knit any of Marcy's designs before. So that counts for the What's New Pussycat Cal going on in Sock Knitters. I don't know why Joe picked that name. Whatever, Joe. So it counts for the SK Pussycat. That's the hashtag on Instagram. I'm not sure. The knitters of Sock Knitters do not seem to be highly active Instagram users, but who knows, whatever. I am. And then, what would it be? Oh, this also counts for the Knit Girls Halloween craft all the things, so that's why I delayed starting the sock, because would it be? I could have done it for other reasons. But I think I can justify this if I can finish in time. Maybe not. For the Bay Area Fiber Fair. So I am doing a new technique, so I still have this on the circular, but I am actually knitting the heel flap right now. So this was something that Kelly had ended up suggesting, and she apparently has like a whole like YouTube class on how do you knit a heel flap with 9-knit circulars, so I'm just giving it a shot. So you can measure it when you're at the end of a row for your length. You have no clue how long your sock flap is in the middle of the flap. Because it just ends up getting all rolled up. But you can sort of get a sense for what's going on there. So I'm just having the rest of my stitches hanging out on this side. And then I'm probably, I would think I would be better about keeping a tape measure nearby. Oh. I'm not too far into this heel flap though. yeah, it's like about an inch in, so I still have a decent amount still to go on the heel flap. I decided to go with a 5-inch sock, just because, what would it be? It's more like, maybe it's not too far off normal. I could, yeah, I ended up going 5.5 inches for the sock. Because the gauge I'm knitting it at is pretty dense, so this is 9.5 stitches per inch. I don't know why it ended up being so dense, but I was like, you know what, this is fine. So I have this. It has a great texture pattern, and you guys can actually see what the colors are this week. My hair is everywhere. Or if you ever want to know why it was that I normally keep it up, it is because it just gets everywhere. It seems like my hair has grown a lot recently, so who knows. So, so far so good. I guess you could sort of measure it while it's like this, but why risk it? So this has been, whatever. I haven't been picking it up too much this week, but I shouldn't have any problems meeting the deadlines for those various knit-alongs. Maybe the only marginal one would be the Bay Area Fiber Fair. So, as you do. But what would it be? It's been a bit of a tired week because I did finally finish watching The Americans, which I think pushed me to having later bedtimes, and then the construction is still going on outside my bedroom window, so there is a short hill before you end up at the next street. So, like in my neighborhood, you have one row of houses and then the next street because it's terraced. And then my street is the exception because there's houses on both sides of the street instead of just one. But what that means is that the construction crew had set up their staging area right outside the bedroom window, and they get started at 7 a.m. and that has not been when I've been waking up. So I got a very nice sleep in this morning. We'll see about tomorrow, and maybe I can start getting on a more even, better sleep schedule, because would it be no fun to be that tired. On the spinning front, I have been working on my Three Waters Farm fin. So this is what I've spun up so far, so pretty close to a full bobbin here. And I have probably about another 1/2 ounce to go on this bad boy. As you can maybe tell, I probably need to be a little bit more even, but it actually spun. Hey. I haven't yet made the bats out of these guys, but I will. I may end up splitting them up into quarters and mixing up both of the braids. And the thought process there is to shift the colors more solid than tonal. What would it be? The spinning of this fiber has made me realize that it was a bit more semi-solid than it was solid for my preference, so oh well, not too crazy. So, what would it be? And then I'm probably going to end up needing to work some, what would it be? I'm probably going to end up needing to work in some baby knitting in my future, so pretty exciting there. So It's now to the point where both of my sisters are pregnant, and one of my sisters has not yet received the baby blanket. So I've been pondering what I want to do about that. So next weekend is the Lambtown Fiber Festival, so it is possible that I could get some yarn there in order to make a baby blanket. There is also the possibility of me digging through the stash and figuring out something that would end up working. For what would it be? For the first baby blanket, I did it out of like 3 skeins of Yosa, and that turned out to be pretty big. And then I ended up knitting some accessories as well out of it, so like I think I had enough left over to do a hat out of the leftovers from that blanket. For my little brother's son, I ended up doing a 10-stitch blanket. So actually all of the blankets that I've knit so far have been Frankie Brown patterns. So for my brother's son, I ended up doing a 3 skein fingering weight 10-stitch blanket, so I just ended up doing a spiral for that. But I'm not sure whether or not I want to do that again. I'm sort of leaning towards like holding fingering doubled at this point. So, what would it be? So going back more towards the DK end of things, but maybe not doing something as textural as the Frankie Brown pattern I had originally done. Not sure, but very excited. What would it be? I'm very excited for my sister, and she and her husband are really excited as well, so that makes me happy. And basically I had the talk, or what is that? So I had the talk with the other sister, and she's like, hats or toys? I'm like, okay, I can do that. With my other sister, I was like, I will take anything knitted. Like, yes. So, what would it be? And both of their babies are doing March, so they're like twinning it so hard right now. It's hilarious. Oh, because that's interesting, because what would it be? And then I saw like my cousin announced that she was pregnant, and then what would it be? Her twin's wife is pregnant. I was like, oh my gosh. So many COVID babies. So I'll have to figure out what I want to do. So, because I can shop at Lambtown, I can shop the stash. I don't know, maybe I just need to pull all of my fingering weight yarn out and figure out if there's something that seems inspiring. I'm not sure. And like I'm like on one hand, like I'm definitely feeling the scraps, but the hats will be fine for scraps. So at least some of my knitting is planned, at least for the short term. Though hopefully that won't be too crazy to do. It'll certainly be less yardage knit than the sweaters. I don't know. I feel like I just need to power through this stupid sweater and get it over with so that I don't have to think about it anymore. So I can actually wear it instead. As you do. Oh well, at least I'm working in the 4th and 5th color now, so that's making me feel at least somewhat productive about the whole thing. And what would it be? I would think there's also like a whole thread that you could go on about always needing to be productive and how maybe that isn't necessarily a good thing. But it's nice to take a break. Would it be like it was nice to take a break from spinning and be like, don't need, or would it be, I don't need to feel like I need to push things forward on all fronts simultaneously. And I try to fight that back by not having a lot of projects going on, but would it be, I'm certainly getting bored with the sweater, but I know if I drop it, I'm going to abandon it, so it continues on. So it may be the case where I end up, instead of casting on a sweater for me, I'll be casting on a baby blanket as sort of a longer term project. We shall see. But I don't necessarily feel comfortable doing handspun for that, because what would it be? I don't think I have any superwash handspun at the moment, so it doesn't make sense. Maybe for hats, but yeah, not for a blanket, not for something that might need to get thrown in the washer and dryer. So, what would it be? Well, we'll stick to the woolly wools otherwise. So I don't know. Maybe I'll come back next week and actually have some better thought out plans, because I probably need to decide soon. I probably need to decide soon what I'm gonna end up doing. Because if I need to buy yarn, it'll be easier to do that next weekend. I don't know if Lambtown's gonna end up being a 2-weekend thing or if it's just a 1-weekend thing. I think some things actually started this weekend. I like totally missed out, or would it be? I didn't end up checking early enough. I thought registration for classes went into Friday. It turned out that they stopped at noon yesterday, so oh, such is life. And I think they were limited to how many people they could fit on a single Zoom call. So, oh well. But I don't know. So, not like it's the end of the world. Let's see. So, I think that's everything. So, I'm gonna have to figure out a DK weight baby blanket pattern and figure out if I'm knitting out of stash or buying new yarn. I probably do have the stash. Probably do. I'm just being silly, but it shouldn't be too crazy. And then I will end up having pictures of bread for Instagram, which is exciting. And I don't know. I feel like, what would it be? Baking bread is like getting in touch with my ancestors. It's like we needed to find a way to connect the past to the future or something like that. Because, what would it be? I don't tend to do it a lot. But for some reason, all of my evil plans involve, what would it be? All of my evil plans seem to involve, like, crusty dark bread, and what I can find at the store is, like, what would it be? Very white sourdough. And it just isn't what I want to do. But to be fair, like, I should, if I really wanted to get in touch with the ancestors, what would it be? I would probably need to make my family's recipe for bread, for which my great-grandmother did daily, my grandmother did weekly, and my mom did, like, for important occasions. So, what would it be? For me to have never done it before, I feel like that might be like a slight, like, I've made other breads, but not the family bread. So, perhaps I should get on that. Get in touch with those roots. But I do really like the Smitten Kitchen Russian black bread, as long as I don't screw it up and put too hot of liquid in it and accidentally kill the yeast, because that has happened, and I have just proceeded with bread baking despite the dead yeast. So, and maybe there are ways to rescue bread like that if you accidentally kill it. Who knows? Now that I have half a pound of yeast in my fridge, I can do what I want. So I think that's everything for this week. I always enjoy hearing back from you guys, so don't feel shy about commenting. It makes me happy to hear about what you guys are up to. And yeah, so with that, I hope you guys have a lovely week, and I look forward to talking to you guys next week. So take care, guys. Bye-bye.